Hey everybody, it's Thursday. Today is not only Thursday, it's Han Solo Thursday. We've got two of Han's infamous blasters, the DL-44. This is the newer Nerf version of the gun. I'm not really sure that this is to scale. It's quite large. And then we have the older Disney Parks version of the DL-44. I think this is a little more in line with the actual size. And this was sold in parks until Disney decided that they weren't going to sell any toy guns anymore. And we picked this up, I think, for about $1 or $99 or somewhere like that. In any event, today is Solo release day, and we're off to the movies in a little bit to go see Solo. You guys have asked me in the past, was I excited for the movie? Am I looking forward to it? And I've responded repeatedly that I have not really been that excited about going to see Solo. It's not necessarily only the recasting. I think there are, to me, a lot of reasons not to be excited to go see this movie. However, none of them are because of the perceived social justice warrior petition and anger that's swelling around Kathleen Kennedy these days. And I know I'm probably going to get a fair share of thumbs down on the video because of that. There's a good deal of Star Wars fans out there that are kind of petitioning the world to be able to get in a DeLorean and go back in time and not have Disney own the property or not have Kathleen Kennedy own the vision of the franchise going forward. I'm not entirely unhappy with more saga stories coming out. I may not have been the biggest fan of The Last Jedi itself, because of the story itself, but I think what leads into that is because of the handing off of stories from JJ to Rian Johnson and so forth, and not having this complete arc set up for people to just kind of paint in details. But I am more so not the biggest fan of so much Star Wars. And this is something that I've talked about repeatedly in prior videos as well as on social media. I don't need to have every last detail of every character flushed out. It's just not necessary to me. I was a big fan of the books that are no longer considered valid. I guess they're called considered legacy at this point or something like that. But I wasn't a fan of all of them either, and they kind of got out of control and spiraled around where everybody was just telling whatever story. But at this point, we have so much content coming at us for Star Wars between Rebels, Rogue One, the Clone Wars, the new live-action show that's coming. You know, there's so much that folks are kind of painting in between the movies where they've led off to each other that I don't necessarily think we need to know. I don't think we necessarily need to know everything about Han Solo and how he met Chewbacca, or how we've erased things that I hold near and dear like the Star Wars Holiday Special and Lumpy. But there are better things to be left to the imagination, I think, and I understand where Disney's coming from. They've got a property, they're going to milk it, and they're going to just put out as much as they possibly want. And in reality, people are going to go see it. No matter how many times they put out something that's not so fantastic, people are still going to pay to see the next installment because of the brand that was established in the 70s and the 80s. And then for a lot of people that are watching this, even the 90s, when we get to the prequel trilogy. That said, we are going to see Solo. I'm going in with an open mind. I'm excited to see what they have to offer to us. What I'm thinking, and I have not seen reviews, and I've not seen spoilers or anything like that online, what I'm fearing is that this won't necessarily be a story that I need to revisit all the time that will drive things forward, but will be more so just like I've mentioned, like whether it's a Rebels or a book or something that I'm reading, or a comic where it's just a snack-sized story that involves some of the characters that's good. It's a story, but it's not necessarily something you need to include in the lexicon of known Star Wars properties that you have to factor in to see. I'm hoping it's not that. I'm hoping for the best, and we're going to go. Let's go check out Solo. We've arrived at the theater, and it looks like they're doing a Tatooine type themed makeover in the parking lot. We did the fan event for Solo, so that means that we get like Han's replica dice, we get a poster and some buttons and popcorn and some other stuff. We came back to the car because we've got our loot. This is part of the fan event. You get these 2 buttons. So one says Best in the Galaxy, the other one says Never Tell Me the Odds. Opening night fan event. But more importantly, you get Han's dice, which of course was a gimmick marketing thing since they introduced them in The Last Jedi. You know, these may disappear out of my car, ironically, before the end of the night. If just making a joke about crime.
Just to be a
so, never tell them the odds. This is the poster you get also. His left eye looks, or his right eye, I guess, looks kind of off. But I guess not. I don't know. Do you think this is the Disney version of the blaster or the Nerf version of the blaster? We've been joined by Campbell, by the way, and here comes somebody dressed as Han Solo. I don't know, as he passes, you can see if he resembles the character. Not that sure, though.
I think that's Threk and Sal Solo.
There he goes, Han. He did shoot first. We finished watching the movie, but before we go to thoughts, just wanted to show you they had this drink here at AMC, the Scoundrel, which is pretty much the same drink that they had for Last Jedi when it was just called the Light Side. We're outside the desolated AMC at this point now. Campbell's talking about the way the screen looks on the back of the camera. We just saw Solo, a Star Wars movie. Jess is not dancing because of the movie. Did you like it? You didn't like it? What was the reason why you didn't like it? So on a scale of I hated it, I didn't like it, I liked it, and I loved it.
1 to 5.
Well, you could do 1 to 5. What would it be for 1 to 5?
A 2.
2?
Yeah.
So 4 out of 10. Because that's.
Oh yeah. It's just.
What didn't you like about it?
I tried too hard.
Without spoilers.
Tried way too hard.
Did you like anything in particular?
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, funny. Which characters did you like the best?
I didn't know other people that.
Oh, okay. So some of the hidden things we liked. And now, you know, on the other side, you have Mary. So did you like the movie?
I did. It was actually really good.
1 to 5.
So on a scale, well, you could either do the 1 to 5, which people are going to criticize. I still like Batman versus Superman, so whoever always gives me a thumb down about that, you know, forget about it. I still like that.
I like the story. I like the backstory. 3.5.
3.5 out of 5?
Maybe
So
3.75. Stop now.
Okay. And then I'm going to preface this by saying if you guys have watched the videos for any amount of time, you guys know that one of my best friends, Campbell, is over-the-top Star Wars fan, even more than me. If there's ever anybody that's going to like this movie more than me, or it was targeted for, it would be Campbell. So having said that, did you like it?
I was very, very happy with it. I was surprised at how happy I was with it. I can't give it a number rating, but it totally, I'm not going to do that. Because I would feel bad giving it anything less than a 5, but I'm not going to say it's a 5 on day 1 at all. But I was very, very satisfied with it, and I really think they took great care in how they made this a Han Solo movie. I'm very pleased with it.
I liked this movie, so on my scale, because I'm tired of everyone running me down about 1 to 5, on the scale of I hated it, I didn't like it, I liked it, and I loved it, I will say that I like this movie.
No, 1 to 5.
And I will say that the strongest part of this movie, believe it or not, and I think it's hands down the strongest part, is Alden Ehrenreich. Ehrenreich. Okay. What is it?
Ehrenreich. Ehrenreich.
Whatever his name is.
Ehrenreich.
I could totally troll people, and I thought about going on Twitter and trolling people and saying he was a better Han Solo than Harrison Ford. But he is a very serviceable Han Solo, where you can watch it and believe that he is Han Solo in the movie.
I don't forget Harrison Ford.
Not to you?
I never forgot Harrison Ford, but he works as a young Han Solo.
Yeah, he does. He actually does. It's a very young Han Solo.
And Chewbacca works as a younger Chewbacca.
Chewbacca was pretty good.
Time, no matter what.
Yeah, and he's 190
as opposed to 200.
I know.
You know, there are a lot of strong points to this movie if you are a hardcore Star Wars person. There were things in this movie, I played Star Wars Galaxies from the point that it released, the release date, up to the point when it ended. And there are a lot of things in Star Wars Galaxy that I connected with Campbell about over the years. He never played the game, but there's a lot of things in that game that were pulled from books and things. And this movie conveniently pulls things that you like from the books.
There are significant
legacy stories now. Things that, you know,
Legends.
character archetypes that I played as Star Wars Galaxy. I have to do something with my hand all the time. That are portrayed in this movie, and very well so. Like, I didn't read any reviews or anything like that. So I was very, very pleased with some of the components that are included in the movie. I don't know if, I guess it was included with the Kasdan script to begin with.
I would think so. Yeah, probably.
You know, but overall, it's a fun movie. I don't think it doesn't push the franchise any further. Although I will say towards, you know, the third act of the movie, the very towards the end, I'm not going to give any spoilers. Things go batshit crazy to me, like where stuff goes off the rails and different characters and things that you totally weren't expecting or were non-congruent to kind of the story.
They were like, let me fit everything I can fit in here. And they're like, all right.
And, you know, and it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense because it was Campbell's side talking. So it makes sense though, because they announced before the movie came out that Aaron Eckenreich. Alden Eckenreich. We're gonna say that name the whole way. He is signed on for 2 more movies after this.
For what?
So he's signed on to portray Han Solo in 2 more movies.
I hope not.
So this story, unfortunately, I believe will probably end up continuing within another year or 2 to the other movies. They have him in the can for 2 more.
They just found like a lookalike. And they're like,
so
let me choose you.
And what happens in that third act really makes me believe that we're going to see another movie fairly quickly. Unless this ties into the live action show, which I don't believe
There's a live
it's due to tie into. There's so much Star Wars coming up. There's another animated series. There's the live action show. We're handing out trilogies to everyone, like Oprah Winfrey, like everyone that comes into the studio. And that's one thing Campbell will agree on, because we argue about everything.
It's a little much. So, I would like to pump the brakes just a little bit on Star Wars.
So, anyway, those are initial thoughts. We're gonna head to something,
Goodbye.
I think, at Denny's. And get the ridiculous Chewbacca cup with the glasses on it. I thought it was so stupid, but anyway. So just hear me out one last second, because I know I said we're going to eat. The last points in that movie where it said things get batshit crazy, I'm thinking now that one of the characters that get introduced may not also appear in the next Solo movie, but perhaps Solo might appear in somebody else's legacy Star Wars movies or Star Wars story movie. And if you guys are hardcore Star Wars fans, or even casual fans, I think at this point, you know who's on tap for the next Star Wars story. Well, I am back home a couple hours later. I had a couple hours to digest the movie, talk about it with everybody. I don't think my rating really changed. I liked the movie. I didn't love the movie. I think there's a lot of stuff in the movie that is really great for huge fans of Star Wars, or hardcore fans of Star Wars, and people that have kept up with everything. The one thing, I am going to make this video so that people can't comment and spoil anything for anybody, just like our other movie reviews, because I hate when folks spoil things, and please don't do so on any of our social media channels either. But one thing I'll say that is not spoiler related, but there is a surprise towards the end of the movie that we alluded to in the video earlier, that if some folks are wondering how that surprise could possibly be, it goes back to what I said at the very start of the video, that there is so much Star Wars out there these days, between books, cartoons, the live action show coming, and you know, all that good stuff. And the way that things are able to be is that there's a lot of callbacks and references to things that have happened in video games, as well as in the cartoon series that have taken place beforehand. So if folks are wondering how some things are, it's because they existed in the cartoons, and folks need to kind of, at this point, if you're a Star Wars fan, you need to look at everything as a whole, all media, and not just look at the movies. And to me, that's kind of unfortunate, because there's so many casual Star Wars fans that won't catch some of the references, or think maybe less of the product or less of certain things like this movie, because they haven't seen or understood some of the other mediums that Star Wars has been portrayed in. So having said that, just a couple last things. Like I said, I really like the Han portrayal. I'd be remiss if I don't talk about Donald Glover as Lando. I think Lando was really well portrayed. I think that there's certainly some high points and some lower points with Donald Glover as Lando. I did really like overall the way that he stepped into that character. Really felt like it was like the spirit of Billy D. Williams as the character. As far as Woody Harrelson, I thought Woody Harrelson, it almost seemed like he improvised his lines at times. It kind of seemed like comedic Woody Harrelson sometimes. I envisioned him like tending bar at Cheers instead of kind of like the mean, nasty Woody Harrelson that we saw in Natural Born Killers. But in any event, I'm sure the movie's going to do a huge bank, like they always do. It was enjoyable. I don't think I'll probably see this in the movies again unless I go and use MoviePass the next time around and go see it for free. You know, it's covered in the MoviePass for the month. I don't think this is one of those things that I need to see like 4, 5, or 6 times in the movie theater to make it soak in. But thanks a lot for coming along. Thanks for watching. Thank you for all of your likes. Thank you for your comments. And thank you for your subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. We'll see you guys.